Good evening, men. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. To all those veterans out there, I hope you had a wonderful day yesterday. I didn't have a wonderful day. It was so soggy, I couldn't even go out of the house with all the rain. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about my son. He graduated from Cape Coral High School in 1993 and graduated from the Citadel in he graduated high school in 93 and graduated the Citadel in 1997. Uh, he was commissioned a second lieutenant at the Citadel and went into the Army. He married a lovely girl that he met in Officer Candidate School. She was humping a M60 machine gun in the swamps, and he came up to her and said, let me take that gun from you, ma'am. And she kicked him, and that was their introduction. And about a year later, they got married, and they have two boys, and they're at the Citadel right now, following in their dad's footsteps. Um, the this presentation is made from a lot of pictures that he took over in Afghanistan, and I put them to music in whatever year it was, and I came to the realization that I had to share this with Catholic men because there's an angle to this presentation, and the angle is teach your children well. Daniel was raised in a good Catholic family. He was the oldest of seven, and he had to go through the gauntlet um, to ensure that the rest of them would be just as disciplined as he was. He was an altar boy in the Catholic Church with the Latin Mass in New Hampshire, and he knew the Latin responses like his two younger brothers did. He did everything right. He loved God, and especially he loved God, family, and country in that order. And behind me sits the flag, the Blessed Mother, and Captain Daniel Eggers. The videos don't need an explanation. They speak for themselves. There's four of them, three short and one long. But the third short video is going to be a picture of a field in the mountains, and look at in the middle of that video. You'll see some astonishing things going on. The Green Berets are on a mountaintop a mile away, and what they did was they painted. It was intelligence said there was a weapons cache somewhere in the mountains, and they found it, and they got intel that they had found the right one, the big one. They painted the facility with lasers, which put a heat whatever they call it, a heat thing on the target, and a fighter jet with a smart bomb dropped a huge bomb, and you'll see the thing explode. But I wanted to tell you what that was all about. And you can hear my son telling the men, get down, get down. You can hear shrapnel raining down from the sky going, woo, 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 woo. So listen carefully for that. So anyway, I might as well explain the angle now. It'll be short. Since Daniel, he did all the right stuff, especially with God. 2 weeks after he died, there was a a memorial mass at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where he was stationed. The Catholic chaplain from Afghanistan flew over to serve that mass. He flew halfway around the world to say that mass and give a message to the family. He was clenching his left fist and articulating with his right hand, telling the story. He said that he knew Captain Daniel Eggers. He met him at his little dinky forward observation base by the Pakistani border. And he said, Captain Eggers went to 4 out of the 5 confessions and masses that I had. He was very surprised at that. That doesn't normally happen. He said Captain Eggers missed the last mass because he was on a mission. Then he continued to say that Captain Eggers didn't have time to sin in between the time of his last confession and mass and his untimely death. He said Captain Eggers was in a state of grace. He's looking at the 2 pews that we had filled up in the Catholic chapel, or actually the base chapel. And he's looking at us and he's saying that Captain Eggers, I believe, was in a state of grace, and I believe he's in heaven. He was one of God's soldiers, and I am so sorry for your loss. And he opened his hand, his left hand, and he had the St. Philip's and the St. Michael medal that he said Daniel was wearing when he died. And Danny always had the brown scapular in his wallet. I don't think that was saved though. So because of what we heard, we had to decide what was going to be on his gravestone. It wasn't very difficult. The family, including his wife, we chose the Bible verse 2 Timothy 4:7. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept my faith. And that's engraved on the headstone at Arlington National Cemetery. So Danny, being who he was, what he did, and a chaplain coming halfway around the world to tell us what he told us, is a legacy that I don't know of any other situation where a chaplain came back from around the world to say that message to any soldiers. So the angle, teach your children well, that's what we did with Daniel, right down to the point of his death. 2 weeks before he died, he called his mom from a mountaintop with a sat phone, and he said some not too good things about how bad it was over there, but he said, Mom, if I don't come home, you take care of Rebecca and the 2 boys. And he said, Mom, I'll always be with you. And our big, huge family of 27 of us, often we text each other saying, I had a Danny moment. I saw Danny. And so teach your children well is the theme of this, that you can take home with you and think about what I said. And I think we're ready for the videos. Okay?
Bill, while we're waiting, could you fast forward a little bit, probably to a pictures we'll see, and tell us a little bit about when you were invited to the Memorial Day event this year?
Okay. 5 days before Memorial Day, this past May, we received a call from the White House, and they invited us to go to the memorial at Fort McHenry. So my wife said, yes, we are definitely going. So they flew us up there and back. And it was a COVID thing. Everybody wore masks. So we're sitting in beautiful folding wooden chairs. There was 100 people, mostly military, one Gold Star family, the Eggers family. And the president was talking, and all of a sudden, I felt like I had to cross my legs. And then the president comes out and he says, Green Beret Captain Daniel Eggers. It startled me, and I damn near fell off my chair. And we were sitting in the first row, and I was sitting right in front of the president, 50 feet away from me. But he acknowledged, he told the world about Captain Daniel Eggers, his wife, his kids, and me, and my wife. And it was just an unbelievable event that we went to that we will never forget that. And he brought his wife, Melania, with them. And yeah, his two boys came with us. We were searched by the Secret Service. The boys left in their car. They left the and I heard this boom, 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 boom. And the Secret Service and the FBI were going through the cars with bomb dogs. And this music is playing. And it's saying, bad boys, bad boys. And the boys walked up to me, and I said, what'd you guys do that for? And they said, we want to get a chuckle from the FBI and the Secret Service. And that's exactly what their father would have done. They were chip off the old block.
Now video. This is video here. Okay. We're doing video right now. See? Video. Video.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hold your mouths open. Fire in the hole. Fire in hole 1. Fire in hole 2. Fire in hole 3. Holy shit! Yeah! Rocket. Hey, everybody down. Frag. You hear it? Get down, John! Get down!
He was defined by his love of country and family, his pride in his service and his Army buddies, and an intense desire to serve his fellow man.
On Memorial Day weekend in 2010, The Army JROTC program at Cape Coral High School held a special ceremony to honor the memory of Captain Daniel Eggers, who was better known as Danny when he was a student and ROTC battalion commander here. The 2010 cadets had put in more than 800 hours restoring the long-neglected flagpole area in front of the school, and with Danny's family and friends present, the cadets raised a new flag which had been flown over Camp Eggers in Afghanistan, a NATO command facility which was named in Daniel Eggers' honor after he was killed in action in 2004.
The United States flag that we are using today was flown over Camp Eggers, Afghanistan on 1 March 2010 and will be raised each year on the anniversary of Captain Eggers' passing to commemorate the ultimate sacrifice that he made in defense of our nation.
They say that a soldier never dies until they're forgotten. And this community hasn't forgotten him yet. And that is awesome.
Bill and Margaret Eggers of Cape Coral say they are grateful whenever Danny is remembered for his service to his country. In fact, friends of the Eggers family have helped them develop this special exhibit about Danny for the Southwest Florida Military Museum and Library in Cape Coral. Danny was the oldest of Bill and Margaret's 7 children, and they moved to Cape Coral when Danny was in middle school. With his Vietnam veteran father and other armed services veterans in the family as role models, this fun-loving, devoutly Catholic, athletic, and highly disciplined National Honor Society student showed an interest in military service at an early age. After high school, he attended the Citadel Military College in South Carolina on an ROTC scholarship, and upon graduation was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Infantry. In 2001, he began training for Special Forces and earned the coveted Green Beret 2 years later. Through the Army's Arab Language School, he became fluent in Arabic and was deployed to Afghanistan in 2003. While there, as a Green Beret team leader, he was involved in numerous secret missions. But fellow soldiers and family say he worked equally hard on his own to establish good relations with local Afghan residents and leaders.
One of the things that he talked about with us was the importance of building the schools for the girls in Afghanistan. And you can see from pictures that we have, once he was in Afghanistan, he immersed himself in the culture, dressed like they did, ate their food. He wanted to raise them up.
He was funny, he was smart, he was one of the very first people in third group to fluently know Arabic. He learned Pashto while he was here. He absolutely loved what he did, and he was killed doing what he loved, and I think that means more than anything.
Danny and his wife Rebecca, a career Army officer like Danny, were raising 2 young sons when he was killed in action along with 3 other military personnel while in pursuit of enemy forces. He was buried with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery, and soon after his death, then President George W. Bush met with the family to offer his condolences.
Well, Danny had said to us on more than one occasion, "I'll always be with you." And I think we really feel that because he lives on in so many of his friends and just these events that occur to keep the memory alive. You do feel like he is always with us.
Daniel is traveling tonight on a plane. see the red tape lights heading for Spain. I can see that you waving goodbye. Oh, it looks like Daniela. It must be the cloud in my eye. They say Spain is pretty, though I've never been. And Daniel said that the best place he's ever seen. He should know he's been there enough. Oh, I miss Daniel. Oh, I miss it so much. Oh, Daniel, my brother, you are all that me. You can feel the pain of the scars that won't heal. Your eyes have died, but you see more than I. Daniel, you're a star in the face of the sky. Yeah, my brother, you are all that we can do. Still feel the pain of the scars that won't heal. Your eyes have died, but you see more than I. Daniel, you're a star in the face of the sky. And Daniel is driving out on a plane. I can see the red tape lights heading for Spain. I can see that new waving goodbye. Oh, it looks like Daniel. Must be the cloud in my eyes. Oh, got it. Looks like Daniel. Must be the cloud in my eyes. Daniel!
Fighting soldiers from the sky, fearless men who jump and die, men who mean just what they say, the brave men of the Green Beret, silver wings upon their chest. These are men, America's best. 100 men will test today, but only 3 win the Green Beret. Trained to live off nature's land, trained in combat hand to hand, men who fight by night and day. Courage take from the Green Beret, silver wings upon their chest. These are men, America's best. 100 men will test today, but only 3 win the Green Beret. Back at home, a young wife waits. Her green beret has met his fate. He has died for those oppressed, leaving her this last request. Put silver wings on my son's chest. Make him one of America's best. He'll be a man they'll test one day. Have him win the Green Beret.
Captain Daniel Eggers grew up in Cape Coral, Florida, determined to continue his family tradition of military service, and it was a great tradition. He attended the legendary Citadel Military College in South Carolina. Soon he met a beautiful cadet, Rebecca. They fell in love, married, and had 2 sons. In 2004, Daniel left for his second deployment in Afghanistan. On the morning of May 29th, Daniel and his team were courageously pursuing a group of deadly terrorists when he was killed by an improvised explosive device. This week is the 16th anniversary of the day that Daniel made the supreme sacrifice for our nation. He laid down his life to defeat evil and to save his fellow citizens. At the time of his death, Daniel's sons, Billy and John, were 3 and 5 years old. Today, they have followed in Daniel's footsteps, both students at the Citadel, planning to serve in the military. Their amazing mom, Rebecca, has now served more than 23 years in the U.S. Army. Everywhere she goes, she wears Daniel's gold star pin on the lapel of her uniform. Colonel Rebecca Eggers and her 2 sons are here today, along with Daniel's father, Bill, and mother, Margot. To the entire Eggers family, your sacrifice is beyond our ability to comprehend or repay. Today, we honor Daniel's incredible life and exceptional valor, and we promise you that we will treasure his blessed memory forever. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much. Please. Thank you.
You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well, their father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they picked, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. And you of tender years can't know the fears that your elders grew by, and so please help them with your youth. They see the truth before they can die. Teach your parents well. Their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams. The one they picked, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh, and know they love you.
I agree. Thousands of American men and women have made the supreme sacrifice in the war on terror. Among those was the brave young American Daniel Eggers. He grew up not far from here in Cape Coral, Florida. He has followed in his father's footsteps, joined the military, and became an Army Green Beret, a true hero. In 2004, on his second deployment to Afghanistan, Daniel gave his life while protecting us against these horrible terrorists. This afternoon, we are profoundly honored to be joined by Daniel's family. His parents, Bill and Margot, are here with us today. Thank you, Bill and Margot. And his amazing sisters, Mary Jean, Maris, and Rosemary. Where are you? Where is sister? Thank you for your sacrifice. In honor of your son and so many other brave Americans, President Trump ordered the strikes that took out the world's top terrorist. He is advancing peace through strength, and our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines are coming home. 2,000 came home last month. 2,000. So important.
My son was an outgoing guy, and you may have seen him hugging some of the Afghani, the village councilmen and all that. He entitled those slides "Winning Hearts and Minds." So they were winning hearts and minds and going to the schools and trying to ensure that the girls had shoes and that the girls would have a school one of these days. And when you saw my son talking to the governor, did you see those 3 shots? The governor was looking at him with his finger, and then my son was looking at him with his finger. My son was fluent in Pashtun. He did not need an interpreter. We don't know what he was telling the governor, but we think that it had something to do with girls going to school and eradicating the poppies. You saw a can burning. That was heroin that they were burning. There was a policeman there as well.